Well, welcome to another episode of the Darby Racing Podcast. I'm once again joined by Mark Holland. Mark, welcome. It's been a very busy start to spring.
It has. How good is spring?
It's outstanding.
Freaking love spring.
And the weather, very warm.
It's
very warm. I don't know if that indicates a very hot summer. But today on the podcast, we've been talking about the breeding scene, the tough breeding scene. I know you're not involved in the breeding, but I am, have been for a number of years.
Yeah.
And in the last probably couple of years started to ramp up. So we're going to go through that, some of the highs and lows that I've faced in breeding. We'll also talk as part of the breeding scene, a number of our stallions that have raced in the Darby colours and gone on and stood at stud.
Yep.
But let's start with the property, Tristabella Lodge.
Tristabella.
2015, I dreamt for a long time to have a small breeding farm.
Was that 2015, was it?
2015.
Wow. What's that, 5, 6, 7, 8 years?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, had a young family and took the big venture from a normal suburbs out to a property. Now, I was looking for a sort of a 30, 40 acre property, but the prices were insane. Just way beyond, Darby Racing obviously just starting to make a name for himself, and it was really difficult. But come across Tristabella Lodge, or wasn't called that at the time.
And why is it called Tristabella? We better let
my son Tristan and my daughter Bella just join the name, as you do in racing. You join the two names together.
That's what they do.
But that's what it was called. But found a lovely 5.5 acre property at Razorback, set up purely for horses.
Yeah. Now, this is always, having a property has been the dream of yours for a long, long time.
Since I was probably 15.
Was it just to have a property and be out away from, a bit more private? Or did you always think, I'm going to have horses, brood mares? What was the thinking behind the property?
How I got into racing was, as I said in another podcast, I went down to a property called Canyon Lee on the weekends.
Yep.
And just loved the country life. I don't think I've ever been a city person.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be living on a property 10 hours from civilization.
No.
Grew up in the Camden area.
Yeah.
And if you could have that kind of rural, semi-rural lifestyle, would be great. So Razorback situated sort of 10 minutes from Camden.
It's a great position.
Little 5 and 10 acre properties. Yeah. I didn't think that's what I wanted, was such a small property, because you can't fit many horses on. But with the breeding, as it turns out, we can sort of have 4 to 6 horses on that property for 6 months of the year. And then you give it a recovery while they go up to Scone to be served, and you got the foals on there. So.
Well, Hollandale Lodge, as we've mentioned again in this podcast before, that was the business we started before I got Crook. It would have been perfect, 30-odd acres.
Yep.
But they're just too expensive, aren't they?
Very expensive, and certainly had to break all budgets
you did.
To get there, and I'm glad you did, because it's been a great lifestyle for the kids. But more importantly, the breeding, which started out as hobby, just for interest, has got quite serious in the last couple of years. But I thoroughly enjoy it. My wife, Edwina, and I foal down all the mares, or the majority of them at the place. It has its ups and downs.
Started early days with Renee, and I've had nothing to do with foals. Nothing to do with foals, and so I can't help him with any of that experience. I've got no experience. So I remember saying to Scott, "How are you doing it?" "I don't know, man. I'm just getting in there.
Ask a lot of questions, and just get your hands dirty.
Just get your hand, roll the sleeves up, get in there, and pull them out."
We've learned a lot, and obviously not being a big property, they're not on great pasture or anything like that, just normal sort of house block sort of pasture. So we certainly feed up with good feed every day, and the horses look terrific. But just going to go through some of the highs and lows of breeding. I liken it to owning thoroughbreds racing. But I reckon it's a lot harder.
It's harder.
You've got to get straight legs. You've got to hit the right stallions. They've got to go the right way. They've got to pass their x-rays. I think it's a lot harder than racing a horse, but very rewarding seeing them from buying the mare, putting them in foal, birthing them,
nurturing them through.
and then seeing them, grow up.
Because you send them, how long do you hold them for? So you foal them down, birth them.
The mares will come back from Scone around April, May.
Yep, to foal down.
Yep. So we'll feed them up between that period and, anywhere from August to November, usually they're foaling.
Then you're on the dreaded foal watch. Tell them about foal watch.
Foal watch, well, probably not like the big farms, but you got the alarm on the mare that when she goes down and goes sideways, they'll
Which
foal.
means she's going to potentially foal down.
The alarm will go off. Now, some mares, they'll only go down the night they're going to foal, which is great. Other mares will give you 100 false alarms, so you're getting up. And let me tell you, people, mares can foal genuinely between midnight and sort of 4 o'clock. They can go any time, but that's usually when they'll foal. So
and a lot of that would be, I would think, based on predatory.
Yep.
Instinctually, it's safer for them to foal down of a night time.
Yeah.
That's their feeling. So that's genetically, instinctively, that would be when they were foaling down. So unfortunately, it's the middle of the bloody night.
Middle of the night.
For humans.
And if you're getting a lot of false alarms, that's a lot of time getting up.
And the big studs actually pay people, like they have them on foal watch. They're up the whole time. Watching everything. You're asleep and then the alarm goes off.
And we're certainly not professional. We're just doing it for the love of it, and we're not doing it commercially, as in outside mares, but we like to get our hands dirty and get involved. And
I suppose even explaining it because there'd be a lot of people obviously watching and listening to podcasts, they don't even understand. Like, isn't it that the head collars have got something on them, so when they lay down, an alarm goes off for you?
We just use a basic alarm system. I'm sure there's more elaborate ones out there now. It just goes on the head collar, sits under the neck,
right? And
it's a mercury based. So when the mercury tips a certain way, it sends a signal.
The alarm goes off.
And I'm sure there's probably better systems that the professionals use. You can tell the mare's very close to foaling by they're running milk, a lot of them.
Bagging up.
A lot of changes you look for.
Right.
Some mares will go well and truly over their due date. Some will go early.
Right. So it's very like even human pregnancies.
Yeah. But it's all systems go when that alarm goes off.
I bet.
As we do this podcast, we've already had 3 fold down at Tristabella this year, and they've all
Will we show some photos while we're doing this? Dave can put some photos up of the babies.
Pretty grotesque stuff. But
some of the yearlings when the babies when they're standing, and you've got some photos.
And it is like Christmas. You wait so long, I bet, for these mares to fold down.
Then you get to see what you've got.
This year we've got a number of time to rein, which we'll talk about time to rein, and we had a Russian Revolution there, fold down, and very exciting to see what you're going to get. The colour they are, the sex, how strong they are. Some of them come out, quite upright and slack at the pasterns, and that all sort of fixes itself.
And does it bother you what sex comes out? Colt, filly? It's like
it used to.
These
days I'm pretty relaxed with it. I used to be pretty tense with the birthing, because you wait all this time and things can go wrong. I'm in touch with this year so far. The births have been very quick. Some are long and drawn out.
Yeah,
things can go wrong. Sometimes you've got to get in there and actually pull them out.
Yeah, that's
right.
You
use all your
I've heard some
strength,
of these stories.
But this year they've pretty much fold on their own.
Wow, so you come out and it's just there.
It's well. Well,
the foal's there. Hey, buddy.
Well, the Russian Revolution, we had Aim Perfection this year. We paid $95,000 for in-fold a Russian Revolution, and so we were really anticipating her birth. And
nervous.
The alarm went off, and by the time we got there, she'd pretty much fold.
Wow, pushed
the
it
filly
out.
Yeah. The last one that just folded was Mornington Mist. She had a time to rein colt, really nice colt.
Yeah.
The alarm went off. The only time the alarm's gone off, so there was no false alarms.
Right.
Edwina gets I'll go and check. Yeah, half asleep. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
God love Edwina.
And she said,
let me know if there's one.
I'll ring you.
Help you.
and you're sitting there. Next minute the phone goes on. You're like, right, it's coming out.
Right,
I took my time a little bit coming up. 5 minutes later, I walk out, and it's out already. I said, is it alive? She said, yeah, it's alive.
Wow.
I said, did you have to do anything? She said, I gave her a little bit of help. But, it's quite frantic when it comes out. I used to stress a lot about it because obviously you're not doing it professionally and learning on the job.
Yeah.
You're worried about things going wrong. And things have gone wrong. We had a tragic year last year.
Yeah.
You know, especially the last mare who passed away foaling, and that was just horrific.
Yeah.
The mares was
And this
called,
is, again, all the risk involved, isn't it? With mares. And do you insure them? Your mares?
No, not unless they were, you know, we paid a bit of money for a couple of mares this year, which we did insure, but generally not.
So that's just a loss.
Just a loss.
Lose the stallion service, lose all your time you put in, and
Well, we had a mare last year named Ringstrass that the alarm didn't go off. A funny story actually about the alarm. That's just how professional we are. We had 2 mares last year foal where the alarm just didn't go off.
Right.
And we couldn't figure out, they must have been standing up or something. They didn't go down. Turns out that I turn on the digital TV to watch some digital TV, not the Foxtel.
Yeah.
And I've got Edwina's fan going on the bed because you have the alarm next to the bed, and it's interfering with the digital TV.
Oh, no.
We figured out that the fan was interrupting the signal for the foaling.
Oh, wow.
So we couldn't figure that out for a while, but yeah, that's what happened. And God love her, Ringstrass, she foaled in the paddock and foaled herself.
Wow.
Nice colt, but ended up getting sick.
Oh, that's
$20,000 in at the vets.
You had to send me to the clinic.
Then had to be put down. We had a horrific year last year in losing foals, and Mercedes, who's the mother of the dam of Ride the River, she had a lovely time to reign that was in the wrong way.
Right, yeah.
They're supposed to come out with their feet and head
forward,
first.
right.
Well,
Feet and head first.
he had the legs backwards.
Oh, jeez.
So I won't go into the detail there, but that was horrific. Had to get the vet and had to put her down and whatnot. So it's quite challenging, but quite rewarding. We've had a good season thus far.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of success. You know, only dabbled in the lower end of the market with the mares, but one early on was quite good. A mare called Heart of Thrills.
Yeah, I remember her.
Bought her for $16,000, sight unseen. It was on the
digital.
Came into the ring at Melbourne.
Yeah.
This mare looks all right.
Yeah.
Good
She was
strong. She was by Shower Hard.
And was she the one that won in town or placed at Rose
No,
or something?
she'd had 5 starts, one at Wagga, went to Gerald Ryan. And
Gerald Ryan, that's right.
she looked like she had a bit of ability, but I think she either bled or something put her out of racing. Anyway, she looked a really nice mare.
Yeah.
On video, she was in foal to Rubik, who I was excited about back then.
Yeah.
Didn't think much of it. Again, not an expensive mare. She foaled down a really strong Rubik.
Rubik colt, that's right.
But leading up to her, she'd had a number of foals. I think 3 or 4 foals. The first one wasn't named, but the next few were, or the next couple. And I get a text from Bruce from Newgate.
That's right.
Bruce Slade.
Yeah.
And he said, good luck tonight with Heart of Thrills in a stakes race. Her filly. I'm like, I didn't even know.
Hang on,
That's
what?
how professional I was.
Yeah, hang on, what?
And she came out in stakes placed at her first start. So instantly.
That was, who was that filly?
Oh, look, I can't remember the name. Thrillster.
Yeah,
That's
Thrillster.
it. Thrillster.
Yeah, it was Thrillster.
So I thought we'd hit the jackpot with Heart of Thrills being that her first racing foal is now stakes placed.
Thrillster. That's right.
Little did I know this is a good story and a bad story.
That's right.
So I thought, let's go to market. You know, I had actually had a share in Extreme Choice.
That's right.
Who ended up being subfertile, ended up being a stallion. But at that stage, he's unknown. So we'll put it Heart of Thrills to Extreme Choice. We've got a lovely, strong Rubik colt out of her.
Yeah.
And now we've got a stakes place, a first race is a stakes place. So
Cash in.
let's cash in.
Yeah.
Let's go sell it at the Easter sale.
Yeah.
The mare in foal to Extreme Choice, which is not Extreme Choice today.
No.
Had it been today, it'd be worth an absolute mint.
Well, you wouldn't have got rid of her.
And we'll sell the Rubik foal. Time to get some money back. I've invested a lot of money.
Yep.
We get $60,000 for the Weanling, which was terrific.
Is the Rubik colt.
And Heart of Thrill sells for $200,000 at Glen Logan.
And you bought her for
16,000.
So, chit-ching.
Jackpot. I'm thinking jackpot, cash in.
Ching, take the money.
Little do I know, it's still a good story. Whenever you're taking a profit, it's a great story.
Whenever you're making money in
and it helps to
mares
keep the breeding going, because there's many losses in the breeding game.
Yeah.
But little did I know that the Thrillster went on and won a stakes race. That's one. Right. Yeah. Secondly, the next foal, which I can't remember the name, come out and stakes placed.
Yeah.
And the third foal, My Extreme Choice, that was in the belly, they paid $200,000 for. It sold for, I think, 170 at the yearling sale. Yeah. But that ended up being Extreme Warrior.
That's right.
Who now stands at Rosemont. Stakes winner.
Yeah.
I think the story went, we went to Easter. I think Glenn Logan did a foal share with the Mitchells in I'm Invincible.
Right.
And if you remember, it was an outstanding foal, sold for $1.2 million. Wow. The value of Heart of Thrills, what I thought was great at $200,000, she'd be worth an absolute stack. She's thrown 3 stakes winners and she's still breeding up. I think the last foal this year sold for $750. So
wow. Well, you got in the ground
well,
floor.
but not as well as it could have been.
Yeah.
Been some other great highlights. We bred Ina Merck.
That's right. Fantastic horse.
Yep.
Brilliant horse. And that's when because you had Winning Rupert.
Yep. Had a share in Winning Rupert.
Bought the
I've had shares
mare.
in Extreme Choice and sold out. Made some really good money out of the Extreme Choice.
As a side note, apart from the brood mares, you also love the stallions.
Correct.
So you take your stallion shares in, it started with Outreach? Overreach?
No, first stallion share I got into was Winning Rupert.
Winning Rupert.
Took a share in that. Then I took a share in Extreme Choice.
Extreme Choice.
And then I took a share in Minari.
Minari
and Extreme Choice was sub-fertile, so you got paid out on your insurance.
Sub-fertile means?
Their fertility's not great.
So they can't serve the amount of the amount of brood mares that normally
they're going to change things up. They look like they've got Extreme Choice under control with limited bookings and how many services, but with your insurance, you're covered with that kind of thing. So I was paid out the full price on both Minari and Extreme Choice. I ended up selling my share in Extreme Choice for a good profit.
Was that like the chairman sale? Or that was chairman sale.
And I sold a mare and foaled him for good money. So I did really well out of Extreme Choice. Yeah. Got my money back on Minari and still trying to trade out of Winning Rupert, which I'm out of now.
Yeah.
And all focus is now on Time to Reign and also going to other outside stallions. But another really good story early on in my breeding where we were really only just dabbling, it was purchasing a mare called Isadora. Or Isadora, sorry.
Yeah, Isadora.
That's
right.
Paid $20,000 for her at the Scone sale. Mm-hmm. Infolded Beneteau, who was his first season.
Yep. Who ended up being an incredible stallion but was cut short.
Yep.
He passed away as well.
I ended up selling, I think, 3/4 or 2/3 of the mare to a good client of mine, Gary Bashel.
Yep.
And we bred for a couple of seasons with her.
Yep.
The first foal out of her by Beneteau, we couldn't get $10,000 for the foal for the yearling at Scone.
That was Malmsteen.
So we decided we'll keep it and go to the ready to run sales. He ran a terrific time.
Yep.
Couldn't get, I think, $20,000 for it.
$20,000. Yep.
So we decided we'd name him, which he was named Malmsteen. Gave him to Bjorn Baker. Won a trial at Rose Hill and sold him to Hong Kong for $230,000.
And went on to be a very good horse over the Asia.
We put Isadora to Not a Single Doubt.
That's right.
Who at that time stood at $22,000.
Wow, $22,000.
This is before he'd taken off, and that happened to be a really good mating.
Yeah.
In the foal coming, it was just a neat yearling at the classic sale.
Yeah, I remember.
Not a single doubt. Still not a single doubt that we knew in the end.
No one knows who he is yet. No one knows who this horse is.
And I remember speaking to Nick Hodges, who put him through from Riversdale.
That's right. And
he said, look, he hasn't been that popular. I said, we really like it.
Because he was quite plain too.
Quite plain, just neat to colt.
Neat, yep.
And he said, look, what reserve are you going to put on him? He said, look, probably 30 or 40 grand.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of money for not a single doubt. No. He got better and better and better as time went on. And I said to Gary, look, if he doesn't make 40 grand, Gary, I'm going to buy him back to syndicate because I quite like him.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
And he turned out to be Salmon Out, Group 1 winner.
Out. Sammy.
So
Group 1 winner.
So I often get
Wink Stakes winner.
I often talk about my breeding. I've invested so much in breeding and dabbled and crunched away, and I get quite down at times. But I have bred a Group 1 winner, which is quite the feat. I forget about that. Salmon Out. So that was really special. Last year we had a bit of luck in bought a mare off Arrowfield in May called Jewel Star. It was in Foal to Castelvecchio. Paid 50,000. Then 2 months later, Shallstar come out and was stakes placed.
That's right. So it's
sold
kind
the,
of like
sold the
Heart of
mare
Thrills all
on.
over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I held the mare for 3 or 4 months. Sold her online for 150.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
there's some good stories of breeding. Plenty of stories of just losing money.
Yeah.
But there's been enough good stories to really keep me interested. As you said, I love the breeding side. Love the stallion side.
Yeah.
You know, you think about horses that Darby Racing's been involved with. The first stallion that we sold to Kitchener Hills, Time for War. He was a fantastic,
Incredible.
Schnitzel colt.
Yeah, out of an incredible family. Bought him for not a lot of money. Incredible run through the race, through his racing career, and then to sell him on as a stallion like it was a dream, wasn't it?
Terrific.
It is a dream. As a syndicator, or even someone involved with horses, it's a big dream because it's so hard to get a stallion. But to be able to buy it as a yearling, nurture it through, manage it through, get to the race, be good enough to win the right races, then to broker the stallion deal, and then come full circle to buy the progeny back at the sales. It is a dream, isn't it?
I just love it. You know, the racing side's fantastic, but it's just something about the breeding side that grabs me.
Yeah.
Even though it's so hard, and there's times, as you've known, because I'm not doing it commercially, like paying the big money for the mares until this year, where I've cleaned out all my mares.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with it. I've heard that a few times. I'm done.
I always come back to it.
They'll all pop up online and getting rid of them.
And what does excite is marrying up these stallions. Like when Time for War came along, I sent a number of mares to him, and Time to Reign, our very good Silver Slipper winner.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great story because Time for War, a good client, Gary Bashel
again,
who was involved with the breeding of Salmon Out.
Yeah.
He bred Courgette.
That's right. Mother of She Will
to
Reign.
Time for War, which turned out to be Time to Reign.
Yeah.
And once again...
and were you instrumental in saying to Gary, let's go to Time for War, or Gary wanted to go?
Well, Gary owned Courgette himself.
Yeah.
And obviously he wanted to send it to his own stallion.
He was in Time for War.
He was in Time for War,
So
raced Time for War.
Keep the dream alive.
And it turned out to be Time to Reign, which, you know, for those who don't know Time to Reign, son of Time for War, he's a cracking horse.
Yeah, you'll struggle to find a better type.
He really was a very, very good 2-year-old.
Yeah.
We didn't see the best of him at 3. Things went astray.
A few issues,
physically, but
yeah,
he was a second colt home in the Golden Slipper.
He was.
And
he was actually very unlucky in the Golden Slipper. I remember he missed the start.
Yep.
He was supposed to be on pace, and he missed the start. And the way he flew home was like, oh wow! If he'd have just jumped, he would have been right in the finish.
So to be able to send mares again to a stallion you've been involved with, and look, we really liked Time for War. It was very special to us back in that period. But Time,
and as it turned out, was a very good stallion.
Yeah,
he was a very good stallion. He only served a couple of years.
He only stood for 2 seasons.
2 seasons, that was it.
Didn't serve a big book of mares.
2 seasons, and the stakes winners, and he's been very good Time for War.
But once again, to be able to access a stallion that you really believe in, you were involved with, that you have the history with Time for War, Courgette, and to see the Time to Reign progeny come out now, that's what excites me.
Well, and part of being involved in that side, as in with the stallions, is you are wanting to source better mares to go to Time to Reign, to give Time to Reign more chances of becoming successful stallions. So you're not just throwing any mare to him. you're going out sourcing nice mares to go to him with the cross that works and hopefully get success on the track.
Look, you have to be careful not to overmatch.
Yeah.
He stands at 9,900 and he's going to have to make it himself. He's not considered to be, you know, like he's not obviously a golden slipper winner like Stay Inside or something like that. So he's going to have to make it himself. But I certainly did support him, you know, particularly a mare like Guapa.
Yeah.
Who I paid 150,000 for in foal, and haven't had a lot of luck until she's thrown a really nice Time to Reign colt.
Yeah,
that'll end up going through the sales.
Yeah.
I handpicked certain mares that I thought would suit him, and we're syndicating some of those at the moment that I think will really excel on the racetrack.
Yeah,
Mornington Miss, she's by Manhattan Rain,
lovely filly,
who is the same sire of She Will Reign, and She Will Reign and Time to Reign being halves. She's got a very close cross there, and she's a cracking type of filly.
Lovely filly.
Went for the double cross of Snitzel in purchasing I Love Luca, who's the half-sister to Bella Vella, the Group 1 winner. And she's a lovely athletic filly who we're syndicating at the moment. So it's really exciting to be not only hands-on with the breeding, to go through all the ups and downs that you do, losing the foals or not getting the right sort of foal. But one thing we've been really excited about is Time to Reign is actually throwing some cracking foals.
He's stamping them, isn't he? He's really throwing nice
and that's
types.
important because, you know...
well, you want one of the things we look for at the sales is you want to see if the stallion has stamped them and that he's doing it.
Throwing great types. They're great walkers. They're athletic.
And he was such a precocious...
Fingers crossed.
Such a precocious 2-year-old, like got up and got going, which is what Australia love. Australia love those 2-year-olds that get out and get running, and you know he's got every chance in the world to do it. It's just very exciting.
So to anyone watching this that's might be interested in the breeding side, certainly don't let me put you off. It is really hard, but it's very rewarding. I was
going to say it's very rewarding.
Very different to the racing, although they have their similarities.
Yeah.
You know, costs are probably comparable to racing, the adjustment side, and you've got to come up with your services to the stallion. This year was the first year I've gone more commercial on the mare purchase. We paid one to finance, bought a mare at the chairman's sale for $350,000, which is a big investment. In foal to Home Affairs, and we got a cracking colt out of that mare. She's a Group 3 winning mare. And as I said, we bought one for $95,000, Aim Perfection in foal to Russian Revolution. So certainly delved higher into the game. More pressure. But you got to be in it to win it, as Bjorn Baker says. And just love the breeding. So I'd love to get to that stage where you got a great broodmare band.
Little brand of broodmares.
The year before, actually financed again to buy into race fillies, as you know, and we're just sort of heading into that venture of buying at the ground floor and racing them in the Darby racing colours. And
it must give you a thrill. Say I own a Merc, it must give you a thrill to watch them and knowing that. I remember Sam Adout when he won at Canterbury one time. You'd had a few. In a few, I bred him. It must give you a source of pride. Has to.
Well, not only does it drive you...
And this is before he won the Group 1. Like, he just won at Canterbury that time.
You need those results. It's like racing the horse. If you've raced a number of shares, and we talk to owners that have... Some it's their first, or some have raced so many shares and never had a good one. You need that good one every now and then to just spur you on, even if it's a city winner. But to breed a Group 1 winner that just drives you. It really drives you. You know, Iron Merc, the story with him, it was I think I paid $2,500, $3,000 for a Snitzel mare. She hadn't done a lot on the track, but I thought the Snitzel cross with the winning Rupert would really work. And that was the first foal out of that mare. She'd already had 3 or 4 foals to other stallions, but I put her to winning Rupert, so it was the first foal we got out of her. So, you know, he wasn't an expensive horse by any means, but what he's doing track, I mean, look, he looks like he could be a stakes winner of the future. He's very athletic style of horse. But that cross of Snitzel and Winning Rupert just seems to work. No, very, very much a journey of starting out very small, and it's grown into something big. And I know Edwina gets a lot of enjoyment out of it. We love going and playing with the foals. We miss them when they go. So what happens is we foal them down.
Yeah.
We do all the hard work.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks after they're foaled down, they're shipped off up to Scone to be served again by the stallion of choice.
Yeah.
So we only get to spend 2 weeks with the foals. And
so the mares stay up at Scone then?
That they stay up at Scone. They get served. Yeah. They nurture the weanlings, the foals, and then wean them off. Once they wean off, then they can come back to us, and we start the process again. So we have to keep making trips up to Scone to see the babies, and
they're like kids, aren't they?
They're like kids. So I mean, recently we had come down the Time to Rain, Mornington Mist, the I Love Luca, the Pariah, Desert Flower, and to see them back down with Troy being educated is just amazing how much they've grown, changed.
Oh, they're coming full circle.
It's a fascinating game. It's enthralling, and whether you're in the racing or breeding, it certainly has its parallels. And
probably some of these homebreds that we offer to Darby Racing, they are horses that you've put your heart and soul and your money into.
And look, as you see from the syndication, they're not dear.
No,
I'm certainly not profiteering from it. I'm losing money, but
no.
I just love seeing them race in our colours.
And you're also wanting to place these young horses with good trainers as well.
Good trainers.
Which is one thing I know you're big about.
And it excites me to see, like an Iron Merc or a Summered Out, the enjoyment people get out of it.
Yeah. And because there's every chance if you send those foals to sale, they might end up out the back of Burke somewhere, and you don't get the success for your mare. So you're also placing these young horses of yours into the bigger stables, the Michael Friedmans, the Gay Waterhouse, the Annabelle Neesham, the Björn Bate. You're giving them every chance for your mare to be successful, so you keep the ball rolling that way.
As you know, and we know at the sales, there's what's called a sales horse and what's a racehorse.
Yeah.
And a lot of these that I'm syndicating are just racehorses. They're bred to race.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you go to a sale with all your percentages that come out,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth doing. Yeah. You're better off racing them.
And you run the risk of they're going to be...
Yeah. There's sales horses and there's race horses. Now, some of the ones I'm breeding are going to go to the sales and can command big money. But a lot of these ones that I'm breeding are ones that I like, but they're not commercially, so to speak. They're not going to command the big money.
Yeah.
So...
Well, they fall into the Iron Merc, Summered Out.
Correct.
I mean, there's no reason they don't turn out to be city class horses and stakes winners.
Yep. And I just love seeing, we're syndicating a few at the moment that are selling out very quickly, and they're lovely style of horses, and they're going to make great race horses, hopefully, and for not a lot of money. Well,
I think that's probably a key. I haven't really thought about it 100% till now, but that is a big one that you are wanting these horses placed in. I mean, these are cheap horses. We could be placing them with Cody Morgan, Luke Pepper, no disrespect to them, out in the country. But you're placing them in the big city stables where they're going to get every opportunity to potentially, win on the city tracks and upgrade your mares and keep owners happy and keep us happy.
So it's certainly a part of the industry I love, the breeding side. I encourage anyone, if you're interested in getting the breeding, certainly ask a lot of questions. It's different to racing, but thoroughly enjoyed my time breeding. We're getting better at it, and we've had some great success already, and hopefully get plenty more.
Amen to that.